If you can't seem to find that zone where work becomes effortless and time disappears, you're missing your brain's natural superpower. In this video, we'll reveal 5 overlooked brain hacking techniques that make entering flow state as simple as flipping a switch, techniques that double your productivity. Plus, stay until the end to discover the 3-minute mental reset that works even when motivation is nowhere to be found. Technique number 1. Have you ever noticed how some people consistently produce incredible work while making it look completely effortless? Curiously, despite having the same 24 hours as everyone else, these individuals seem to accomplish in minutes what takes others hours. Why might this be? Think of your mind like an electrical circuit that requires specific conditions to conduct optimal current. Neurological research indicates that when in flow state, your brain experiences a 500% increase in neurochemicals like dopamine, norepinephrine, endorphins, anandamida, referred to as the bliss molecule, and serotonin, creating a natural high that dramatically accelerates learning and performance. It's similar to how Aang in Avatar: The Last Airbender initially struggles with mastering elements until he stops overthinking and connects to his natural abilities, suddenly performing at levels he never thought possible. While many believe flow requires perfect conditions or rare talent, the neurological mechanisms behind it are actually hardwired into every human brain as an evolutionary advantage. So what specific approach allows anyone to activate these powerful neurochemical cocktails on demand? Try a state activation technique called trigger anchoring. This approach creates reliable entry points to flow by identifying and replicating the exact conditions that previously activated your flow state. To implement this effectively, identify 3 occasions when you naturally experience flow. Know the environment, time of day, physical state, and emotional context. Then deliberately recreate these conditions when you need to perform. For instance, if you noticed flow happened while listening to instrumental music in the morning after exercise, create a ritual combining these elements before important work. Remember, flow follows familiar pathways. Technique number 2. Do you ever wonder why certain activities seem to effortlessly capture your complete attention while others feel like fighting against your brain's natural tendencies? Interestingly, flow states don't actually require intense concentration or willpower. They emerge when specific neurological conditions align with your brain's innate reward systems. What's the key to transforming your ability to access flow in any activity? Imagine flow state as a river current that already exists. You don't need to create the water, just position your boat in the right channel. Dr. Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, the pioneering psychologist from the University of Chicago, who first identified and named the flow state, discovered through decades of research that flow consistently emerges when challenge level slightly exceeds current skill level, creating what he termed optimal arousal. While this balance point offers tremendous benefits, many people miss it by attempting activities either too easy, causing boredom, or too difficult, triggering anxiety. Precisely the wrong conditions for flow. How might you calibrate any activity to hit this neurological sweet spot? Consider a challenge calibration technique called flow targeting. This approach systematically adjusts task difficulty to match your current skill level plus approximately 4% additional challenge. The exact percentage research shows creates optimal neurological conditions for flow. To implement this effectively, break complex projects into progressive challenges with clearly defined success criteria that stretch your abilities without overwhelming them. For example, if writing a report, don't start with a blank page. Begin with writing a single paragraph with a 20-minute deadline. Remember, optimal challenge activates optimal performance. Technique number 3. Have you considered why flow feels simultaneously intensely focused, yet paradoxically effortless? As though your conscious mind steps aside while something more efficient takes control. Fascinatingly, neuroscience reveals that flow isn't about forcing concentration, but rather about selectively deactivating parts of your brain that interfere with natural performance. You might be thinking, why might this be? How might deliberately quieting specific brain regions actually unlock your highest capabilities? Picture your conscious mind as training wheels on a bicycle, initially helpful, but eventually limiting speed and maneuverability when not removed. Recent neuroimaging studies show that during flow states, the prefrontal cortex, responsible for self-criticism, doubt, and second guessing temporarily deactivates in a process called transient hypofrontality, allowing more direct, efficient neural pathways to operate. This principle appears brilliantly in Chihiro from Spirited Away, who initially overthinks every challenge in the spirit world until she learns to trust her instincts, allowing her to accomplish seemingly impossible tasks with surprising ease. While this deactivation offers tremendous benefits, many people unknowingly strengthen rather than quiet their inner critic through constant self-evaluation and judgment. How might you effectively quiet these interfering brain regions? Try a mental deactivation method called inner critic silencing. This technique strategically redirects attention away from self-evaluation centers in your brain through timed immersion in process-focused activities. To activate this performance enhancement, use a timer to create 25-minute intervals of complete immersion. During this time, focus exclusively on the process itself while deliberately ignoring any thoughts about quality, outcome, or personal performance. For instance, when writing, commit to typing continuously for 25 minutes without backspacing, editing, or judging what appears on the screen. Remember, silence your judge to unleash your genius. Technique number 4. Have you noticed how time perception dramatically changes during your most productive periods, with hours passing like minutes? Remarkably, this time distortion isn't just a pleasant side effect of flow, but actually a neurological mechanism that can be deliberately triggered to enhance performance. How might your brain manipulate your perception of time rather than waiting for it to spontaneously shift? Consider time perception as a mental frame rate that can be deliberately adjusted like settings on a camera. Dr. Arne Dietrich, neuroscientist at the American University of Beirut and leading researcher on flow neuroanatomy, found that time distortion during flow states corresponds with decreased activity in the temporal lobe, the brain region tracking chronological time. While beneficial, many people struggle to initiate this shift because their attention constantly fragments between the task at hand and time awareness, checking clocks, calculating remaining time, or thinking about duration. What can you do? Adopt a temporal manipulation approach called time immersion. This technique creates neurological conditions for flow by strategically removing time awareness during critical performance periods. To implement this effectively, eliminate all time indicators from your environment, cover clocks, set timers out of sight, and commit to specific task completion rather than time periods. For example, instead of writing for 1 hour, commit to completing 3 paragraphs regardless of how long it takes, completely removing time from your awareness. Remember, when time disappears, flow appears. Technique number 5. As promised, here's the 3-minute mental reset technique that works even when you're feeling unmotivated and distracted. Have you ever experienced the frustration of sitting down to work but finding your mind scattered across a dozen different concerns, making flow seem impossibly distant? Intriguingly, research shows that entering flow doesn't require being in an optimal mental state to begin with. It requires a specific transitional pathway between resistance and immersion. What if there were a reliable bridge between your most distracted state and your most focused performance? Picture flow state as a different radio frequency your brain can tune into once it clears initial static. Studies show that brief dopamine priming through micro accomplishments can shift brain chemistry enough to bypass resistance. This principle appears in Belle from Beauty and the Beast, who creates small routines to transition between her village life and her immersive reading, establishing a ritual that quickly transports her from mundane reality to complete absorption. What mental reset creates the strongest bridge between resistance and flow? Embrace a state transition protocol called micro-momentum. This approach rapidly shifts neurochemistry by creating a sequence of 3 progressively challenging but achievable tasks that prime your brain's reward pathways. To activate this reset mechanism, first complete a simple physical task like organizing your desk for 60 seconds, then a slightly more challenging cognitive task like writing 3 goals for your session, followed by 60 seconds of focused breathing while visualizing successful immersion. For instance, before writing, straighten your workspace, outline 3 paragraphs, then breathe while imagining words flowing easily. Remember, momentum begins with movement, however small. If you're interested to learn more about self-discovery, then be sure to watch our video about Fix Your Productivity in Minutes with this game changer to learn more about the power of you. See you there.